All right, guys, welcome to the broadcast. Today we're on number 49. So we're very close to the 50 episode mark. So I'm really happy about that, proud about that. Remember in the earlier episodes I talked about taking the time to celebrate. So I will celebrate, and I'll have something special for you guys next week. So 50 episodes, like almost back to back. For me, it's an accomplishment, even if it might seem small or big. I try to always acknowledge effort, discipline on my part and also on your part to be here. And if you haven't missed one episode, then congratulations. And I'm really happy and proud of you that you're able to stick with or to follow along these episodes, these live lessons with me each and every week. So I really appreciate it. What I appreciate also is people sharing the video and spreading just the knowledge. So if you do appreciate these videos, please share them, like them, and comment. Which brings me to the very quick lesson, and today is a very technical lesson about shoulder pain. But before we get into that, last week I talked about questions and who's your best counsel and how do you find the best counsel. If you haven't watched that episode, please go back and watch last week's training. We talked about who do you get counsel from, and we talked about questions. So if you have any questions, I love answering questions. My best email where I can be reached is sibok@gmail.com. SIBOK martin@gmail.com. That's the best place if you have a question that is more personal, that you don't want to post it on Facebook. So either send that email there and I'll answer it. And if you want to contact me by messenger, then just find me, Sibok Martin Patenaude, friend me, and I'll reply back. Any questions you might have, any pressing questions, issues that you want to resolve or advice on, let me know at those two places, on Facebook Messenger or at that Gmail address. So questions, ask questions, get into the habit of asking questions to the right people, the right mentors, and also asking yourself questions. Super important. And like we talked about, at night, that's the best time to ask questions and to get answers in the morning or in a few days later. Okay, so that's the lesson to start. Questions. Second is an issue, a problem that us martial artists have, especially if you're in the striking arts or if you're in the grappling arts. The shoulders, the shoulder girdle, the whole shoulder is one of the most complex joints in the human body. It's amazing when you look at how it's made and what happens when your shoulder raises and twists. It's pretty amazing. But this piece of machinery can break down, and it's very tough, but at the same time it's so fragile. So we need to do preventative work, and I've talked about this in my earlier lessons, building an armor around your body, because when you demonstrate your power, us martial artists, we have to demonstrate our power with explosiveness, and that's where it's dangerous to hurt yourself. So we need to do things slowly, with resistance, with weight, our own body weight, or an actual physical weight in the form of a dumbbell or a barbell or a piece of equipment. So today I want to share what I do to keep my shoulders as healthy as possible. And I'm like you, like if you're training hard and you're really being explosive in your expression of your art, then it's very difficult to be injury-free your whole career. So I've had my share of injuries in the shoulders, but I want to share what I do and what I've done to heal shoulder injury, and also, most importantly, to prevent an injury from happening. If your armor is strong and tough and you build it in such a way to withstand example, this joint here, if I can train this bone to withstand, let's say 300 pounds of pressure, great. Any hit I take, which is 100 or 150 or 200 pounds of pressure against this reinforced bone that I've been training on at 300, then that's a great way to avoid injury. Now, this is just an example, but when you train your body, you do build an armor around it. So, what do I use? I love to use resistance bands because like your muscles are like big elastics, and training with them really helps in the recovery and to rehabilitate a torn muscle or an injury. Sometimes what's lacking is blood flow in the joint. So I'll show you two ways, one with equipment and one using Neigong training or Neigong principles. Neigong is very strong on high reps to get the blood flowing in the joint, that is your main focus, and to stimulate synovia. So synovia is like, I guess, human grease, like WD-40 that you would put on a squeaky door or on like some sort of mechanical part that moves a lot. You would grease it, okay, with some sort of lubricant. So synovia is the human body's lubricant, and when you do higher reps of a movement, it forces the body to produce more of it and can help, quote unquote, grease this joint. Okay, so at the end I'll show you how to do that. So you just need to purchase very cheap equipment, elastic band. Okay, so these bands, after the broadcast, I'll just post where I get my bands. And so it's this type of elastic, a high quality one, and an expander. Okay, this is what I use, and there's 9 levels to this expander. Okay, let's cut right to the chase. The first exercise is to keep your elbows very tight to you, and then keeping your elbows tight, you open as far as you can, but trying to keep your elbows where they are and open. And you hold this position, and then you would release, and then I always go with feeling, how I feel. When I feel my shoulders have gotten enough, I add 5 more reps. So that's my philosophy. So when I feel like I've done enough, I do 5 more, and that's good enough for me. So that's the first exercise. 1, 2, get your arm at a 90 degree, okay, and it's parallel to the floor. Add some pressure to your elastic and rotate outward and come back. A lot of us are introverted with our internal rotation of our shoulders. So we need to open this chest up, and this exercise helps with that. Okay, so you go down, like give me some pressure, and then go back, and then come back. Just that motion backwards. All right. This movement, I love this movement, and you'll feel it as well if you have a weakness. We're all very strong in the front deltoid, but the back, the rear, is where most people are very weak. So this movement will help correct that. So when you open, 2, you rotate out with this very small elastic. Be careful not to get into the mentality that I need to go with heavy bands, big elastics. Very small elastic and a controlled movement really attacks those small fast twitch muscles, the small muscles that stabilize the shoulder. So even if it's a small elastic, the benefits are there, and don't go too heavy too soon. That would be a mistake. That's the first one. Second one is the expander. Now you can do all these exercises just with a basic a tubing of elastic, kind of like the one I showed before. So I can do a whole course on how to use this piece of equipment. The basics, you extend and focus on pulling your shoulder back, right? That's my movement. I'm trying to pull my shoulder back as far as I can while staying aligned with my direction. Just the chest expander itself, just the history of it is very fascinating to me. If ever you have a chance to do the research, archery, to expand those large bows in combat. So the history of expanders is pretty cool. So that's the first one. Second one is you pull back and then you would extend and then come back. Second. Third, go out and then open, right? So I'm trying to go step 1 and then step 2, expand. Step 3, extend and then pull out. Step 4, open from where you are. Step 5, go for overhead and then go back. Step 6, go palms out and go straight down and extend. 7, you would push out to the side. 8, you would go behind your back and do a lifting motion and then come down. Next step, you would step on your expander, then lift and then build that strength in the front deltoid. When you start playing around with a very light expander and you go through various motions that feel good to you, the shaking, that's what I love. The shaking of the elastic when you're going through the motion, for me, feels like it really stabilizes the shoulder. And like I talked before, those fast twitch muscles, like those small muscles that are stabilizing the shoulder, that's what I'm attacking. And I'm not working on the major big muscles, just the smaller ones around the joint. Do these movements religiously. If you're pain-free, sometimes it really sucks to have to go through that lesson of preventative work. Sometimes when we're sick, then we realize how good we had it when we're healthy and strong and feeling great. So if you're feeling good and strong, then why not add in these exercises to make sure that you stay pain-free and injury-free in your practice. So nobody wants pain, nobody wants to deal with an injury. So do these exercises to stay on top of your game, stay strong, and take care of your shoulders. The shoulders and the lower back, these two body parts are prone to injury, so take care of it and take care of them. Next is the Nigong movement. You stand with your left foot in front and keep your body straight and reach down for your thigh as far as you can. Your quad muscle, right, comes down and around. So there's like almost a straight line here, like in the middle. Where you reach down and touch the center of your quad is where you want to be. Use your middle finger, right? So we're saying FU to pain, right, in a way. So middle finger in the center of the thigh and press into that pressure point. Very important. So my left foot is in front. I'm pressing into the pressure point inside my inner, just in the center right here of my quad, and I'm pressing hard. And you should feel like a small pain tingling. If you feel a bit of pain, that's because you're pressing in the right spot. So you should feel a bit of a weird feeling. Then like your arm, rotate with your palm up and turn out and then come down. So the movement is palm up, and then as I reach this top position, I turn my palm out. So if I'm facing wall 1, wall 2, wall 3, wall 4, as I come up, my palm turns into wall 4, down and around, and do the movement. So at the end, I should have a nice, cool little twist of my hand as I complete the movement. Okay, so that's my rotation. As I press very hard in the quad area and I rotate, and I become very comfortable with the movement, where I can do several hundred reps of this movement. For me personally, at first you might feel not very fluid, not strong, not stable, like you have to take a break. That's normal, but try to reach 360 reps with this movement, up and around, and do the rotation. High reps stimulate some grease production, some synovia in the shoulder joint, and get the blood flow going there, and it'll feel very warm, very good, And you can do other exercises if you want at the end, but these are the movements that I do to prevent and to also, if I am injured, I'll do these movements lightly with very light elastics and go through the motion and get as much blood flow in, combined with my Indian clubs, I think makes for a very effective formula to prevent and to heal a shoulder pain or shoulder injury. Be smart, consult your doctor, physician before doing these as always, but try to incorporate these movements, especially if you're pain-free right now. I hope you enjoyed this lesson. Write it down in your journal and most importantly, put it in practice. Apply it and make good use of the information. As always, walk the path, master yourself. I'm Sebach Martin Patenaude, and I'll see you soon.